Happy Thanksgiving, ladies and gentlemen. The best holiday you can find for football. We have 3 games today, and we have some good food. You get to go hang out with your family, get to relax. Hopefully everybody here is able to enjoy the day, and if not, hopefully you're at least able to go through and enjoy the games. But let's go ahead and let's dive into some injury updates that we have, ladies and gentlemen. Our first one being that Justin Jefferson not expected to play on Monday. So if you have no Justin Jefferson, I think that you are going to be able to go through and say, you know what? It's probably a safe spot to go ahead and play Jordan Addison. It's crazy, but it does make sense. The Vikings really aren't Super Bowl contenders, right? Even if we want to root for Joshua Dobbs, do we think they're going to win a Super Bowl with them? Probably not. And they have the bye week next week. So Jefferson, still young, obviously looking out for his long-term health. Sit out this week, sit out the bye, and then be 100% good to go going into week 14. Now, Kenneth Walker will not be playing today either. Now, y'all know I was coming out saying the past few weeks that if Kenneth Walker were to go down, Zach Charbonnet would immediately be a running back 1 for me in fantasy, given his receiving usage, plus the size that he could be a 3-down back. Now, because this week you have a banged up Geno Smith, and at the same time, you're going up against the 49ers defense, I can't say that Kenneth Walker's absence leads to Zach Charbonnet being an RB1. He's more like an RB2 that we can definitely start, especially in that full PPR format. Just a brutal matchup for tonight. Now, Rico Dowdle will be expected to play today. A.J. Dillon will be expected to play today. And we are going to have no Aaron Jones, but going back to what we have in Green Bay, you're not necessarily super excited to go through and play A.J. Dillon based on what we saw previously from this offense with no Aaron Jones. But let's go ahead and let's look at all the updated projections that we have. Hopefully this is going to be able to help you, 1, submit some starting lineups this week, and 2, hopefully have a pick 'em or 2 that you find that you want to root for today. And I would say now is probably the best time to hop on Underdog because they have the largest giveaway that they're ever giving. They're giving away $300,000 today for people who include pick'ems on Thanksgiving. Essentially, they're going to have 3 separate 100,000 airdrop players, where if you include that player in your pick'em, then you're eligible for the $100,000. I think that they already dropped one for the Detroit Lions game, so I definitely go ahead and take advantage of that. But also, promo code FLOCK, you're going to get a 100% deposit match and a Christian McCaffrey special pick of more than less than half a total yard on top of being entered in for those giveaways. And on top of that, ladies and gentlemen, you will be getting our rest of season fantasy football rankings and tiers. So make sure you take advantage of that with a link in the live chat description comment section. But let's start it off with what we have here with the Green Bay Packers. Typically, not excited to play any of these Green Bay guys. It should be playing from behind, going to Detroit to play this game. Jordan Love has about 15.5 fantasy points for his more than less than. I'm probably staying away. If you look at A.J. Dillon, they do have A.J. Dillon in a respectable range, 63.5 total yards, where you could play him as a low-end RB2, high-end RB3. I just feel like I've learned my lesson enough from doing that earlier on in the year with no Aaron Jones. And then going over to wide receiver, it's a crapshoot. They're going to be spreading the ball around. They have Christian Watson at 45 yards, Romeo Doubs at 42, Jayden Reed at 38. Do not start anybody here in Green Bay. We talked about it time and time again, but they're like a poor man's Kansas City Chiefs offense in that they are going to go through and they are going to spread the ball out to everybody. But the issue is you're not the Chiefs. You don't have enough volume to go around to spread it out to as many people as they do. Now, going over to the Detroit side of things, you definitely can start Jared Goff today. 17 points is his projection. Jahmyr Gibbs, I wouldn't mind if you wanted to go through and take the more than 77.5 total yards. They have him at 14 total fantasy points. Clearly a must-start player. David Montgomery, clearly a must-start player. We ranked them both as running back 1s last week. We'll rank them both as running back 1s this week. Obviously, you are starting Amon-Ra St. Brown as well. You are starting Sam Laporta. This game's very clear cut. Cut and dry. I don't kind of like the turkey I'll be eating later today, but we don't need to talk about this too much. Now, going over to Washington, they have Sam Howell at 18.5 fantasy points. Obviously, this is a brutal matchup, so I wouldn't mind if you wanted to go through and take the fewer than 18.5 points for Sam Howell. Brian Robinson, I'd say you probably want to go through and bench him if Antonio Gibson will be good to go today. Tough matchup. They only have him at 43.5 rushing yards. Even if he's been crushing lately, you're not excited to play him against Dallas. You have Terry McLaurin at about 9.5 fantasy points. In reality, I just kind of want to bench everybody in this Washington offense going up against one of the best defenses in the league. You have Dak Prescott, beautiful matchup going up against Washington. Obviously, we like hunting this Washington secondary. You have Dak at 20.5 fantasy points, someone that you can go through and start. Tony Pollard, they have him at even odds to score a touchdown again. We looked at this last week. They have him at 14.5 fantasy points. So despite whatever you feel as if you drafted Tony Pollard and he was a horrible, disappointing player, which I didn't draft him, I honestly think he's a good buy low candidate though. Based off the volume, based off the offense, you still have to start this guy every single week, right? Going over to Lamb, you have about 16 points as his projection. You're for sure starting CeeDee Lamb. And then Jake Ferguson has come back down to earth just a bit. They have him at 36.5 receiving yards. Someone that you can start, but honestly, I wouldn't be super excited about it. Now, one of my favorite pick'ems for today, just knowing the game environment that we are going to have here in Seattle, where you have the Niners is about 7.5 point favorites. I don't necessarily think that they're going to have to go out there and be reckless in the second half and really push the pace of play, really push the passing volume. So I do like Brock Purdy to have 0 interceptions in this game. That's one of my favorite pick'ems. Obviously, I'd like to pair that with the CMC free pick'em, more than less than half a total yard, and one of those airdrop pick'ems to enter in to win $100,000. But CMC, must-start player, don't want to waste your time. Going over to the receivers, Deebo Samuel has been very bad, right? I mean, Deebo Samuel hasn't really given you anything since coming back from his injury. They have him at 61.5 total yards. If you compare this to Brandon Ayuk, they have Brandon Ayuk at 64.5 total yards, or 65, sorry. So they do have them in a similar range. Ayuk as the wide receiver 1 in this offense, but it doesn't look like it's supposed to be super, super far apart between these two players. And then George Kittle, must-start guy. I was calling George Kittle a sell-high candidate with Deebo Samuel coming back in based off the historical splits with and without Deebo Samuel. And that's looking horribly wrong because Kittle's just continued to go through and dominate over the past 2 weeks. Now, going over to the Seattle side of things, Geno Smith will be good to go. I am a little bit hesitant based off his injury. And I wouldn't mind going with the fewer than half an interception for Purdy and the more than half an interception for Geno. Going over to Zach Charbonnet, I think this is probably the most important player to be looking at to have some type of realistic expectation. Zach Charbonnet, they currently have at 78.5 total yards at about 12 total fantasy points. So if you go through and compare him to some of these other guys that we looked at earlier in this stream, if you compare him to someone like Terry McLaurin, you would for sure go through and you would take Zach Charbonnet over Terry McLaurin, over that range. You'd for sure take Zach Charbonnet over A.J. Dillon. But if you're looking at Zach Charbonnet in comparison to like Tony Pollard, there you're still probably having to take Tony Pollard, where Underdog has Pollard more likely to score a touchdown. Underdog has Pollard for more fantasy points and Pollard for more total yards. So, I mean, Zach Charbonnet, I wish I could call him an RB1 stepping in. The reality of the situation, it's probably a running back too, just based off how bad this matchup is. Lockett, you can start if you want, so I wouldn't be too excited about it. Metcalf, you can start if you want. I mean, Metcalf's probably the only other guy I'm starting in this offense. In reality, I probably want to be benching as many of these players as I can, just given how bad the matchups will be here. Okay. But I think that should be about it here, ladies and gentlemen. Let me go ahead and let's answer some of these questions before we got to make a long drive to go see some family. And let me remind you, if you have not done so, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. And if you want to check out any of those pick'ems over on Underdog Fantasy, today's the best day to do it. They're giving away $300,000, their largest giveaway ever, ladies and gentlemen. They're going to be airdropping $100,000 through 3 different players. I believe the Lions guy is already live. If you want to go enter in to win, you only need one pick'em. I believe pick'em can be as low as like $5. And also promo code FULL, I'll give you a 100% deposit match, plus our rest of season fantasy football rankings and tiers, and that CMC special pick'em more than less than half a total yard. You can find that link in the live chat description or comment section. Well, let's fire through these questions. I'm going to go fast, ladies and gentlemen. We got Thanksgiving today. All right. Wincho says Debo or Lockett and Mixon or Robinson. I'm going to go Debo over Lockett, and I'm going to be going with Mixon over Brian Robinson, assuming that Gibson plays. Torrance says, happy Thanksgiving, Mason. Happy Thanksgiving, my friend. Need a running back 2 in a flex start. Swift, Hall, Waddle, Stevenson, or Ridley. The shoulders, we start Mahomes or Kyler. We're going to go Mahomes over Kyler. And then if we're going to be looking at what we have here with running back 2 in a flex, Waddle, very tough matchup this week, so we will go Swift and Breece Hall. Yaniv says, full BBR double flex spot, must win. Stroud, Fields, Bijan, Hall, Brian Robinson, Singletary, Charbonnet, Olave, Cup, Higgins, Hollywood, Douglas, Jason, Kincaid. Who are we going to start? Quarterback, we're going to go ahead. We're going to start CJ Stroud. Should be a higher scoring game. Running back, we're going to be going with Bijan and Breece Hall. Wide receiver, we will be taking Olave and Cup if good to go. Hollywood if not. And then for the flex spots, we'll be going right back to running back. We're playing Charbonnet and Brian Robinson. But since you have Brian Robinson and Charbonnet playing today, you actually want to put them at RB1 and RB2. And you want to be moving your RB1 and RB2 down to your flex. Cam says start Laporta or McBride. We're going to go Laporta. And Mostert or Devonta Smith. The last report that we have with Devon Achane is it would be a mild surprise if he plays tomorrow. So I kind of want to just go Mostert. Full BBR format would be close. Steve says, happy BBR. Am I crazy for sitting Eckler and playing Gus and Kyron? Yes, you're crazy. Got to play Eckler over Gus. If we do play Eckler, Kyron, or Olave for the flex, can't hurt to see Kyron for a week and just go Olave and then Taysom over Ingram for touchdown upside. I'll take an happy BBR format. No, I'm going to go Evan Ingram. Second says Stevenson, Wilson, Charbonnet. Flex must start 1. I will go ahead. I'll play Zach Charbonnet in this range, even in a very tough matchup here, my friend. Trevor says, happy Thanksgiving for the Great White North. Happy Thanksgiving. Made this trade yesterday. Mixon and Al for Stroud in a 1 quarterback format. Thanks, G. Thank you. If Burrow's fully healthy, I'd say I hate the deal because I'd be projecting out Mixon to be an RB1. Now, if you think that this offense is going to collapse under itself with no Joe Burrow, I'm fine with the deal. I don't want to sit here and act like, oh, it's the best price ever for CJ Stroud. But I mean, if we plug that into the trade calculator on flockfantasy.com, I'm sure Stroud side's winning, which I guess we can show off the trade calculator for just a little bit, just in case y'all have not had a chance to see it. And it's completely free for everybody this weekend as well, just in case you want to go through and play around with the trade calc. I'm assuming that most of y'all already have your trade deadline passed, and it'll be more so a tool for next year for everybody. And also, a dynasty tool primarily. Y'all know I love me some dynasty fantasy football. But Honor says 2 quarterback full BBR start Lawrence or Dobbs. I'm going to go Lawrence now that you have no Justin Jefferson. And start 2 out of these, Ridley, Charbonnet, Javonte, and Godwin. I'm going to be going with the running backs in Charbonnet and Javonte. Caleb says, Allen and Diggs, do we start Kincaid or Laporta? I'm going to go Kincaid. Also, we need a running back, Connor Cook or Charbonnet. Full BBR format, I think go Charbonnet. Anything less, I think you go Connor. Boss coming out says 12-team full BBR, Lamar, Etienne, Bijan, Chase, Keenan, Laporta, Smith. On the bench, Achane, Charbonnet, Rice, Douglas, Spears, Fields, any trade targets. I mean, I had Fields to that buy low candidate 2 weeks back, but I'd say now at this point, if you have Lamar, let's go through and let's see if we can sell maybe like Fields and Charbonnet and go get an elite wide receiver or running back for the long term from a team dealing with the injuries right now. Adil says Charbonnet or Javonte, full BBR, both bad matchups. Yeah, Javonte going up against Cleveland. Also, thank you for telling me to keep the faith in CD about a month ago. No, thank you, my friend. Honestly, it's very tough. Let me look at what they have. They have Javonte at 52.5 rushing yards. I think it's very close. Underdog is going to have Charbonnet as the guy to go to, especially in a full BBR format if you look at their projections. So, Jay Moss says, happy Thanksgiving, my friend. Pick one for the flex, Amari, Josh Downs, or A.J. Dillon. Full BBR format, I'm going to go Josh Downs. If you look at Josh Downs, Underdog pick him, almost had 50 yards this week. Best Man Podcast is starting Fields over Tua. 4-point passing touchdown format with Tua having a tough matchup against the Jets, yes. And then Chase, Waddle, Olave, Pacheco, Hall, Komet. Should we start Gus Edwards or Charbonnet over any of my backs? I would say no, full BBR format. The only thing I'd consider is playing Charbonnet over Jalen Waddle with how bad the matchup is for Waddle against the Jets. Terrence says, pick one for the flex. Rice, Freeman, Cooks, Douglas, Tutu, and then pick one at tight end. Njoku, Ferguson. We're going to go with Njoku, and then pick one to quarterback, Stafford or Love. We're going to be going with such a tough spot. We're going to go Stafford. And then for the flex spot, I'm going to go with Rashee Rice and just chase touchdown upside. Mike says, pick two for the flex. JT, White, Connor. Oh, we're going to go JT and White. Operating at the assumption it's a full BBR format. I mean, you have to play JT. JT is my RB2 this week. And I thought I was aggressive with that, but I kind of was backed up once Underdog got the Indianapolis Colts projections out. Put Jonathan Taylor at 105 total yards. He's the only other running back that I think I've seen this season outside of CMC over 100 yards. For his projection, that is. My name's Blue says 12-team, double flex, start two. Jason Reed, Noah Brown, Myers. Are we starting Tua or Purdy? Happy Thanksgiving, brother. Happy Thanksgiving, my friend. We're going to go Purdy with the tough matchup for Tua. And then for our 2 year, we're going to be going with Jackson Smith and Jigba and probably Noah Brown. I mean, Jacoby Myers, the volume has just fallen off an absolute cliff since we had the change in coaching staff. C-Dog says Ridley or Charbonnet. I'm going to go Charbonnet. Dave says Purdy or Kyler. I'm going to go Kyler. Mike says need to get Kyron off the IR. Drop Collins, Ridley, Brian Robinson, Mixon, Connor, Henry, or Singletary. Probably go Singletary. Dameon Pierce will be good to go this week. I think probably it's committee. Really hoping Dameon Pierce, does not have a role and it's just the Singletary show though. CR says PBR pick three, Kupp, Puka, Dell, Pittman, Brees. I'm going to be going with Puka, Pittman, Brees. And you can pivot from Brees to Kupp if Kupp's good to go. Aiden says, happy Thanksgiving. No, I think we have to I'm sorry. We're going to walk that back. We're going to go Dell over Pittman. For sure play Puka. I think you go Puka, Dell. And then honestly, as long as you're playing Puka, I think all these guys are extremely close. Honestly, I have no idea. Aiden says, happy Thanksgiving out of Hall, HN, Kamara, Brian Robinson, Charbonnet. Which two should we roster as our two running backs in a flex? Should my flex be Kirk? No, we're going to go with this group of running backs. We're going to be planning on Kamara, Charbonnet, and Hall. Let's go Kamara, Charbonnet, and Hall. Maybe if Achan's fully good to go, you can pivot off of Hall to Achan. No, we're going to bench Achan until we see him. Michael says start Waddle or Debo. Very tough matchup this week for Waddle going up against the Jets. The Jets have allowed the fewest points to opposing wide receivers so far this season. If you look at my rankings, I have Waddle at 20 and Debo at 22 though. So I do think it's up to you. I mean, it's close. Kendall says full BBR, single flex. Hurts, Fields, Henry, Gibbs, Swift, Chase, Wilson, Dell, Laporta, Singletary, Collins, Chandler, Rice, Charbonnet. Star bench this week and trades for the playoffs, wide receiver, tight end, or running back. So we're going to go with Jalen Hurts at quarterback. Running back, we're going to be playing Henry and we're going to go Gibbs and Swift, full PBR. Wide receiver, we're going to go Chase and Dell. For the flex, we're going to go Derrick Henry, given the matchup against Carolina. And then if you wanted to make any trades, it'd be throwing Justin Fields out there in the trade block to see what we could get. If you wanted to package him with Justin Fields and Zach Charbonnet and go out there and see if we can get someone that's very exciting for the long term at running back, that could possibly be something we like to do. Noah says ETN Gibbs starting. Start Swift or Montgomery at the flex. Non-PBR Montgomery, full PBR Swift. Eric says full PBR Kincaid or Laporta. We're going to go ahead. We're going to take Kincaid in Chiefs defense or Cowboys defense. Cowboys defense, but both are great options. X-Men says, happy BR start 3. White, Mixon, Montgomery, Pacheco 4. Need your super brain on this. Thank you. Love you, my friend. We are going to be going with White, Montgomery, and Pacheco. And we will be benching Mixon there based off the fall off in offense. Now, Sovicha says, happy Thanksgiving. A full BBR. 2 receivers, 2 running backs, and a flex. Adams, Dell, Kupp, Kamara, White, Brian Robinson, and Raheem Mostert. Wide receivers are going to be going Dell, Adams. Running backs are going to be going Kamara, White. And then for the flex, we'll go Raheem Mostert. If Cooper Kupp misses, we'll go Kupp if Kupp plays. Tommy says, happy Thanksgiving, Mason. Happy Thanksgiving. My man, always happy to see you. In one league, full PPR, pick 2 out of 3. Javonte Pacheco or Edwards. We're going to go Javonte and Pacheco in a full PPR league. And in a different league for our flex, we're going to go Terry, Warren, Ford, or Rashee Rice. Full PPR format, I'm going to go ahead. I will take Terry McLaurin, even though it is a brutal matchup going up against Dallas. Henry says, Bijan, Mixon, Eckler, Warren, Ramondre, Garrett, DK, Thielen, Laporta, Kincaid, JSN. Any reason to play Laporta at the flex? It's a double flex league. So we're going to be starting, say, Eckler, Ramondre, or Eckler, Mixon at running back. Then wide receiver, DK, Thielen. And then I would say no, you have a good enough team where we can go through and we can play an extra running back and wide receiver in the flex spot. I don't think you have to put. Maybe going forward, like if you have an injury or in next week's bye week hell, then maybe you can go ahead and you can throw a tight end in the flex spot. I don't think you have to do it there. I think your team's good enough. I Shine coming out with a massive donation. Always happy to see it. My man says, happy Thanksgiving, flock. We need an upside. Shahid is seeing a 25% uptick with Michael Thomas out. We are going to start him over Waddle. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. We're still going to go ahead. We are still going to play Jalen Waddle over Shahid. I am in agreement with you, however, that Shahid is definitely more viable and more appealing now that we have no Michael Thomas. In another league, we are going to start Njoku, Godwin, Sutton, Likely, or Downs. Here you can either go Sutton or Godwin. If you look at the underdog pick'ems, they'll tell you Godwin. Obviously, Sutton has been better as of late. Sutton just has a really tough matchup against Cleveland, but I'm sure, if you wanted to go Sutton, you can. I need upside. All of these are for a full PPR format. I feel shaky about Waddle. Don't blame you at all for feeling shaky about Jalen Waddle. Jalen Waddle has been disappointing this season. On top of that, Jalen Waddle is a wide receiver in a brutal matchup. So I don't blame you for wanting to bench him. I just don't think we can play him. Bench him for Shahid. Now, our next switch coming out from Caesar says, standard scoring, one has to sit. Puka, Brees, Bijan, Devontae, Charbonnet. Probably Charbonnet. Brock says, with Henry questionable, start him or Charbonnet. We have White, Taylor in the running back spots. Send this on the stream with the audio. Make up through twice. I'm so sorry about that earlier. Trust me, I did not want to have a stream with no audio. That's my fault, my friend. And yeah, here I expect Derrick Henry to be good to go and Derrick Henry to be playing. Full PPR format, if you just wanted to play it safe and go Zach Charbonnet, you can. However, if it's like a non-PPR league, you have no other option but to play Derrick Henry. Great matchup against Carolina. Jovi says, flex Kyron or Addison in a full PPR format. Now that you have no Jefferson, definitely going to be a little bit closer. I'd probably still go Kyron. It is close, though. It is close. Brace says, full PPR start 1, Jacob Smith, Charbonnet, or Terry. We're going to go ahead and we will take Jacobs reluctantly. Really tough spot for Jacobs, though, going up against the Chiefs where they should be trailing the entire time. Craig says, happy Thanksgiving, Mason. Happy Thanksgiving, my friend. We have Herbert, Brown, Keenan, Laporta. Got an offer of Evans and McBride for DJ Moore and Stroud, looking for the playoffs. I already know what I would rather have, my friend, but I'll go ahead and show this to you on the flockfantasy.com trade calculator. Just to give you a sense of everything. So this is going to be a half PPR league. What's a big difference between our trade calculator and what I believe, outside of the algorithm that we spent weeks working on, makes it the best trade calculator you're going to find, is you can make the adjustments to your specific league format. So we're going to go with the 12-team half PPR league here. And we receive Evans and McBride. They receive Moore and Sam Laporta. Saying it's a fair deal where you can go ahead and you can make this swap if you want. I personally, actually, no, I misread this. Sorry. We're giving up Stroud. DJ Moore and Stroud. Yeah, that's what I was expecting. You lose. You'd rather have the DJ Moore and Stroud side. I understand that Stroud doesn't have a lot of a lot of value for ourselves just because we have Justin Herbert. But I would rather try to get a little more value in a deal elsewhere. AD says, top 3 pick'ems for today. Love the channel. Thank you, my friend. Let's go ahead and For today, I really do like Brock Purdy to not have an interception, given the game environment we should have later tonight with everybody being healthy in San Fran as well. And let me see if we have any others that really stuck out to us. One thing that I was debating on in this same game, there are two things I think you can go with. Expecting Seattle to be behind and having to throw the ball consistently, especially with no Kenneth Walker. If you wanted to go Geno Smith to have an interception, I think that could be interesting. And then also Zach Charbonnet for more than 3.5 receptions. I think Charbonnet more than 3.5 receptions, Geno Smith to have an interception, Brock Purdy to have no interception would be the ones that I'm looking at for later tonight. And of course, if y'all wanted to check out any of those pick'ems over on Underdog Fantasy, you can find that link in the live chat, in the description, in the comment section. Promo code FLOCK, 100% deposit match, plus our rest of season fantasy football rankings and tiers, and that CMC special pick of more than less than half total yard. And Underdog's going to be giving away $300,000 today for people who go through and submit pick'ems. They're going to be airdropping 3 separate $100,000 players. I believe the first one is live right now with the Detroit game. And you only have to, I believe, have like a $5 pick'em slip on that. Caesar says Charbonnet, Breece, Javonte Swift, pick 2. I'm going to be going with Swift and Breece. Alex says start Charbonnet or Connor. Happy Turkey Day. Happy Turkey Day, my friend. We will go with Charbonnet full PBR format. Anything less, Connor. Hudson says Fields or Goff. We're going to go Fields in a 4-point passing touchdown league. We have Gibbs, St. Brown, and DJ. Sebastian says start 2. Ramondre, Connor, Jacobs, Kyron, Mostert. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to play Mostert and Jacobs. Vinny says starting running backs are all on Bijan. Which running back to flex? Cook, Charbonnet, Singletary, Edwards. We are going to go Zach Charbonnet there, my friend. Ryan says Lamar, Saquon, Mostert, Smith, Amon-Ra, Kincaid, Gus Edwards, Kyron. Would you trade Saquon for Devontae Adams? I understand the thought process here. I mean, we have enough running back production ourselves. I would say I would prefer Saquon. I think you need to be charging a premium if we're selling someone like that. Pedro says Titans or Bills defense. Titans going up against Carolina. Obviously, great matchup. Bills have a much better defense. They'll probably chase the matchup. However, with the Titans, Bills are dogs in this game. We're going to go Titans defense. And then Broncos or Giants defense. I'm going to go Broncos defense. They've actually been playing good as of late. And at the same time, I mean, they have a pretty good matchup as well here. No? Pretty good matchup. But Angel says Javonte or Chase. We will go Chase full PBR. King Flores says Javonte, Thielen, Cup, Dell, or Flowers. We need one for the flex in case Keenan doesn't play. We'll go ahead. We'll play it on Cup. If Cup does not play, then we'll pivot over to Dell. Roble says Superflex, Geno or Ritter. Ooh, tough spot. I'll probably go. Geno's going to have the passing volume. The issue is I don't know. We'll go Brian Robinson and Geno until we actually see Ritter. Even if you look at the implied team totals, though, Vegas will tell you that Atlanta's going to be a better offense. Sir Barkley says Mason, my man, Madison or Gus, and then is Mitchell okay to flex? I think 99% of people here would take Gus. In a full BBR format, I may consider Madison, but I think you can go Gus regardless. You can. Caleb says Cooper or Connor for the flex. I'm going to go James Conner. JRB says Cook, Charbonnet, Terry, or James Conner for the flex. Full BBR format, give me Zach Charbonnet. Non-PBR league, give me James Conner. Now, Stay Beastin' Boy says, happy Thanksgiving, Mason. Happy Thanksgiving, my friend. 16-team at PBR. We need to start 3. Odell, Metcalf, Hopkins, Wilson. We're going to bench Odell. Start Metcalf, Hopkins, Wilson. Even though I understand that Odell does look a little bit more appealing here now that you have the Andrews injury, of course. But that tall guy, says, with Wicks and Musgrave out, who would you play? Watson, Shaheed, and Odell. So you have no Michael Thomas as well, and you have no Mark Andrews. So all these players should see the bump up with target volume. If you look at the underdog pick'ems, Christian Watson's the guy that you probably want to go with. And he plays today, so you get a little bit more action as well. I'm biased. I actually was drafting Christian Watson this offseason. I really wish I wasn't. I'd probably go Christian Watson here, but I do need to admit that obviously you're not super, super confident with it. Now, Bluebird Rock says, hey, Mason, love the channel. 9-2, full BBR. We have Mahomes, Jacobs, Montgomery, Lamb, Puka, and Njoku, Dell. On the bench, we have Stroud, Ramondre, Ford, Brandon Cooks. Any moves for the playoffs? I mean, great team overall. If you wanted to send Stroud and Dell, I mean, obviously these guys have a tremendous amount of value. If you want to package them together, see if we can get an elite level wide receiver, if we have Mahomes, you can look to do that if you wanted. Colton says PBR start 2, Evans, DJ Moore, Brian Robinson, and DK Metcalf. We're going to go with Mike Evans and DJ Moore. iShine says full BBR pick 2. Gibbs, Montgomery, and Stevenson. Thank you, my friend. We're going to go with both Detroit running backs, behind one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. Trent says Montgomery or Bijan in a full BBR. Full BBR, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take Bijan. Crab Vision says start 2, Ridley, Devonta Smith, or Waddle. We're going to go with Smith for sure, and then Ridley, Waddle, kind of up to you. I'd probably go Waddle to see one more week of the Ridley story play out. And then defense, Detroit or New England. New England has a damn good matchup here. I believe Detroit is a larger favorite. I'll probably go New England. It's close. Zach says pick 4, Charbonnet, Cook, Singletary, Wilson, Hopkins. We're going to go Charbonnet, Cook, Wilson, and Hopkins. I'm not really excited to play Singletary this week. Obviously, he was a must-start guy last week, but now that Dameon Pierce coming back in, I would rather wait, see what he's going to look like, because I'm a little bit worried that they're going to split this backfield. Jesus says start 1-1-1. Brian Robinson, Charbonnet, Wilson, and Dell. We're going to go Charbonnet, Wilson, and Dell, assuming it's a PPR league. Giovanni says 12-team full BBR, 7-4. We have Allen, Jacobs, JT, Pollard, Chase, Smith, Kincaid. And then on the bench, Hopkins, Lockett, Kittle, Deontay. Who should we start? Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, my friend. I'm fine going Kincaid over Kittle. Down there on the bench, Hopkins would be the wide receiver I would want to get in. I'm not going to start him over Smith. Not going to start him over Chase. Not going to start him over one of the running backs for the flex. So I think we leave it as is. But I mean, great team having those options on the bench. Paulski, always happy to see us. Says start 3, full BBR. Jacobs, Charbonnet, Mixon, Kyron, Warren. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. We're going to be going with Jacobs, Charbonnet, and Joe Mixon. Let's wait and let's see what Kyron gives us this week. And then Warren, I know no Matt Canada. Maybe we want to believe that his role increases, but let's see it first. Uncle Fresh says Breece, White, Ramondre, Charbonnet, Brian Robinson. We need 3. We're going to go with White, Breece, and Zach Charbonnet. iShine says big one for the upside. Sutton, Downs, Waddle, and Njoku, or likely. If I'm chasing upside, I'm going to go Waddle. Sutton's been hot as of late as well. But his touchdown rate looks a little unsustainable, and he has a tough matchup just like Jalen Waddle. Waddle going up against the Jets, Sutton going up against Cleveland. Yamil says start 2, a receiver in the flex. Ferguson, Deontay, Odell, James Cook, Brandon Cooks, Hunt. Need a win, full BBR, 12-team league. Wide receiver, we're going to go ahead. We will play Deontay. In the flex, we'll go James Cook. And we'll send up a prayer that no Matt Canada makes this Pittsburgh Steelers offense better. Which actually you did have the projection on Underdog for Kenny Pickett. I believe jumped like 20 passing yards once Matt Canada got fired. Now, Long Schlong says, full BBR struggling on these choices. Njoku or McBride. And Deontay or JSN. We're going to go Deontay and McBride. And Njoku did have 15 targets last week, but I don't know. It's tough. But horrible offense. Falcons fans start 3-2-1. Puka, Cup, London, Wilson, Rice. Plan A, Cup, Puka, Wilson. Plan B, Puka, Wilson, London if Cup does not play. 2 running backs, Gibbs, Pacheco, Charbonnet, Singletary. We're going to go Gibbs, Pacheco, and Charbonnet. Play all 3. Put Pacheco in the flex because he's not the guy who plays today. Thanks and happy Thanksgiving. No, happy Thanksgiving, my friend. Rich says Charbonnet or Henry in a full BBR format. Probably Henry given the matchup. So he says Singletary, Charbonnet in a standard league. I'm going to go Charbonnet. Mr. Filthy Wub says London or Romeo Dobbs. I will be going Drake London. Nova Rep says 8-team league, single flex. How'd Walker go down? Pick 2. Bijan, Stevenson, Pacheco, Charbonnet. We're going to go Bijan and Pacheco. Also, Jamar or Ayuk. Close, we'll go Jamar. Have Tyreek and A.J. Brown starting. Happy Thanksgiving, brother. Happy Thanksgiving, my friend. Hope that you have a great one. Jesus says, start 2. Brian Robinson, Mostert, Ayuk, Nico, full PBR. We're going to go with Mostert and Ayuk. Will says, happy BR, pick 2. Ramondre, DK, and Charbonnet. We're going to go DK and Charbonnet and set up a prayer they can overcome the matchup. Cake says, flex 1, full BBR. Hollywood, Brandon Cooks, Odell, Dobbs, Higgins, Douglas, Reggie Dillon. I'm going to go with Hollywood, and it's not too close for me in a full BBR league. Lucia says, Pacheco or Debo. I'm going to go Pacheco, and then Likely or Logan Thomas. I will go Logan Thomas despite the tough matchup. I would like to see Likely give us 1 week of production before you start him. Sleep Deprived says, have BBR start 2. Montgomery, Pacheco, Kyron, and Charbonnet. I'm going to go ahead. I will take Montgomery and Pacheco. I feel like you don't have to roll the dice with Charbonnet over someone like Pacheco. Mark says, full BBR, single flex. Tyreek, Diggs, DJ Moore, Pollard, White, ETN. Love the videos. Also, is Freiermuth startable? We had Andrews. Freiermuth's not startable until we see otherwise. I think he's worth a roster spot. He's rosterable, not startable for the time being. And then our 2 receivers are going to go Tyreek, Diggs. Our running backs are going to go ETN, Pollard. Our flex are going to go White. Phenomenal team, though. Phenomenal team. Stay Beastin' Boy says, have BBR need a tight end, Likely or Logan Thomas. I'll be going with Logan Thomas here, my friend. The Days Full says, Ferguson or McBride, full BBR format. I'm going to go McBride. Wandier says, happy Thanksgiving, my man. 2 big decisions. Purdy or Fields. 4-point passing touchdown format. I think we go Justin Fields with the rushing upside. 6-point passing touchdown league, we'll go Purdy. Opponent has CMC, Kittle, DJ Moore. Also, Pacheco or Charbonnet. We're going to go Pacheco. Projected to tie, half PPR. Yeah, we're going to go Pacheco over Charbonnet, especially in a half PPR format. Now, Mike says, need 1 for the flex. Warren, Keaton, Dobbs, and JSN. I will go Jalen Warren here. Slay says, Evans over Cup this week. Full PPR. We also have Puka. I think you can do it and just wait until we get Cup fully healthy. Mr. Philly Wub says Stroud or Fields. We're going to go Stroud, Tua or Dobbs. We're going to go Tua or Kyler. We're going to go Kyler. Sean says, happy Thanksgiving, Mason. Need some tight end help at BBR. McBride or Laporta. Appreciate you. Appreciate you, my friend. We are going to go ahead and we'll take Sam Laporta. David says, hey, Mason, need 3 out of these. Kamara, Hall, Brian Robinson, HN, Charbonnet, happy BR format. I'm going to go ahead. I'll play Alvin Kamara, Breece Hall. And then it's very tough not knowing if Devon Achane is going to play or not. If we knew that Achane would play, I would go Devon Achane. But without that knowledge, I think you probably just have to play Zach Charbonnet today and not roll the dice. Jeremy says, happy Thanksgiving, Mason. Happy Thanksgiving, my friend. Goff or Herbert. Love your channel, by the way. No, thank you. We're going to go ahead and we will take Justin Herbert over Goff here. Even if the Chargers have been disappointing, Herbert's been great in fantasy. iShine says Taysom or Isaiah Likely. If we are chasing upside, we're going to go Taysom Hill over Isaiah Likely, my friend. Josh says, double flex league. We have Sutton, JSN, Eckler, Kamara, Brian Robinson, Sheed, Shakir, London, Tyreek. We're going to go Tyreek at wide receiver alongside Courtland Sutton. Running back, we're going to go Eckler, Kamara. For the flex spots, we will go Brian Robinson and Drake London. Even though Shaheed is a little more appealing now that you have the Michael Thomas injury. Hunt says, happy Thanksgiving, full BBR for the flex. Downs, Higgins, or Reed. I don't know if Higgins going to play. I'd probably just go Josh Downs, to be honest, until we see Higgins healthy. But what's the upside in Cincinnati at this point? Sidekick says, pick 5. Pollard, Kamara, White, Bijan, Ayuk, Diggs, Moore, Mitchell, Rice. The double flex league. So I'm assuming we need to pick 6. Wide receiver, we're going to go Ayuk and Diggs. Running back in the flexes, we're going to go Pollard, Kamara, White, and Bijan. We'll play all 4 running backs. Play Ayuk and Diggs at wide receiver. And then if we really only needed to pick 5, you would take Pollard off that list. Hoosier says, Happy Turkey Day, Mason. Wanted to trade Barkley, but I think I'm undervaluing him. Is Barkley and Pittman fair for like Amon-Ra, Keenan, or Lamb? If it is a shallow format, yes. So like if we go back to the trade calculator here, just to give you a sense of a deal like this. So let's play the hypothetical. This is an 8-team league with 1 flex spot, full PPR. So in a league like this, if we're going to go out there and get that straight up stud, if we're going to be getting someone like CeeDee Lamb and we're giving up Saquon Barkley and Michael Pittman, you would clearly rather have the CeeDee Lamb side. However, if this instead, say, was a 16-team league, the other end of the spectrum, there it would be much, much closer. So if it is an extremely shallow formats, I will go ahead and I will make that move to get CeeDee Lamb. However, if it's a league that's a little bit deeper, I think you probably prefer Saquon and Pittman. Nathan says, pick one PBR, James Cook, JSN, or Christian Watson. We're going to go James Cook. Mike says, need a flex. Warren, Keaton, Dobbs, JSN, and then Ravens or New England defense. New England defense this week with the Ravens having a tough matchup. And then for the flex, we will go with Jalen Warren. Camo Killa says, have BBR, single flex. Bijan, Pollard, Brees, A.J. Brown, Amon-Ra, Dell, Cup, Nico, Ridley. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, my friend. Our running backs are going to be Bijan, Pollard. Our wide receivers will be A.J. and Amon-Ra. And our flex is going to be probably Brees Hall. If it wasn't Brees Hall, it'd be Tank Dell. I think most people would go Dell over Hall, though. Can everybody please spam the chat? Who would you rather start? Would you rather start Brees Hall or Tank Dell? Brees Hall or Tank Dell, ladies and gentlemen. iShine says, need upside, full BBR, pick one. Ridley, Godwin, or Shaheed? If we're going upside, we will go Ridley here, my friend. Phoenix says, full BBR, have to flex one. Deontay Keaton or HN Jeff, depending on who's healthy. We'll go HN if HN's healthy. If HN's not, we'll go Deontay. And then enjoy Thanksgiving, my dude. Appreciate you, my man. And yes, have a great Thanksgiving. Dipster says, full BBR, start two. Waddle, Ridley, Warren, down, Charbonnet. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take Ridley and Waddle. No, I can't do it. I think you go Charbonnet and Waddle, and let's see one more week what we get from Ridley here. Zach says, full BBR, Reader, James Cook. We're going to go James Cook. No Dobbs and opponent starting Watson. Yeah, we're going to go James Cook. Mr. Billy Webb says, Allen or Stroud. We're going to go Josh Allen, my friend. Jamil says, pick a running back, wide receiver, and a flex. Waddle, Ayuk, Brees, and Jacobs. Our running back, we're going to go ahead. We're going to take. Actually, it doesn't matter. Just bench Waddle. Waddle has a very tough matchup against the Jets. Play Ayuk, Brees, and Jacobs. Vegas Mark says, full BBR, Laporta or likely. We're for sure going to go Laporta. Pick three, DK, Ayuk, AJ Brown, Chase. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, my friend. With the tough matchup for DK, we're going to go Ayuk, AJ Brown, and Jamar Chase. Manuel says, start Kincaid or Laporta, full BBR. I'm going to go Kincaid. Will says, Shaheed, Collins, or Hollywood Brown. I will go with Collins, but it's close. Pro Movement says, should we trade Lamb for Jefferson and Brian Robinson? Nope, you want CeeDee Lamb. Gage says, happy Thanksgiving, Mason 9-2. Do we start Lockett or Charbonnet at the flex? Keep up the grind. Appreciate you, my friend. We will go with Charbonnet, get the running back that has the guaranteed workload. Now, Bajan says, happy Thanksgiving, full BBR, Jason or Reed at the flex. Here you can go Reed if you really wanted to. You can go Reed with everybody banged up in Green Bay. Akil says, I would probably go JSN, but I'm an idiot. Akil says, 10-team full BBR. We starting Bijan, Charbonnet, or Waddle at the flex. I'm going to go Bijan, Hook 'em Lawrence, and happy Thanksgiving, my friend. Khalil says, full BBR for the flex, Charbonnet or Brian Robinson. Full BBR league, we will go ahead and we'll take we'll bench Brian Robinson, tough matchup. We'll go Charbonnet. Here for the meme says, pick three, Connor, Charbonnet, Brian Robinson, Mostert, full BBR. We're going to go with Mostert, Charbonnet, and James Conner. Bench Brian Robinson with Gibson coming back in a very tough matchup against Dallas. Timmy says, full BBR, single flex. Pick three, Swift, Brees, Jamar, Evans, Nico, DK. We're going to go with Swift, Brees, and Jamar. If you wanted to make a pivot in a full BBR format, you would pivot from Brees Hall to Mike Evans if you wanted to. But I think that should be it for this live stream, ladies and gentlemen. If I knew that we were going to have this many people coming out, I would have started the stream earlier. I am sorry about that, but we got to rush to go and drive about 2 hours to see some family here, but I appreciate you. Really hope you have a great day. And of course, if you wanted to check out any of those Underdog pick'ems, now's the time to do so. Underdog's going to give you a 100% deposit match, plus our rest of season fantasy football rankings and tiers, plus a Christian McCaffrey special pick'em, more than less than half a total yard. And they're having their largest giveaway ever, $300,000 airdrop for Thanksgiving, 3 $700,000 airdrops. Be individual pick'ems. You only need to enter in like a $5 pick'em to enter with that player. But SSG says, in Gibbs we trust. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, my friend. And David says, didn't see that Dobbs out. Should we go Watson, Bryan, Robinson, or Charbonnet? We're going to go with Charbonnet. But thank you again. I really do appreciate y'all. I really hope you have a great Thanksgiving. And I will be live late tonight, just in case you want to come by and relax and chill with a bunch of turkey in your belly. But thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Really hope you have a great day and hope I get to see you later tonight.